Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm rocking and firing this morning from the Hole in the Ceiling Studios in beautiful Deer Valley, Arizona, under beautiful sunny skies. I hope this finds you well, as it does us, and I did say us. This show is brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group. Legal, lawful, constitutional tender. You can get some by calling 1-800-951-0592. You can also head out to the World Wide Web, the information superhighway, as they called it when it came on. You know, remember dial-up and all that? At allamericangold.com. You can order 24/7. They got prices, news, views. They got just about everything. It's quite an operation they got running around here. I'm Eric Cedarstrom, the former owner, and I was walking in the parking lot this morning, and I found a guy that I know pretty well wandering around. We didn't think we were going to see him this morning. The new owner, nephew, and president of Patriot Trading Group, Joe Jaquin. Good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, Eric. Good morning. I appreciate you filling in for me yesterday. I've got some medical issues that I am dealing with. Didn't think I was going to be here either, but then I was told that you couldn't be here tomorrow, and I said, well, I better get in there because I won't be in tomorrow. I'm not sure about Friday. I do know that this show today will replay. For tomorrow, for sure, we'll see about Friday.
Well, we'll just do the best we can. Everybody's busy, and you doing okay? So
yeah, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah.
I have some blood pressure issues and some other things that I got to get under control. And let's just say this: the next time I'm up on the Front Range, there's probably going to be a lot less of me.
Well, you have to do that, and probably not going to be, the fried chicken and all that. The same thing happened to you. It happened to me, almost the same age. So
yeah, we were kind of comparing notes.
People don't understand, that you do a radio show every morning. There an element of you can't open the show like it's PBS, or people don't want to hear that. Hi, Joe. How are you? Yeah. So you have to have an element of excitement. Your blood pressure has got to get up. You got to get a few octaves higher than everybody else. Otherwise, you people. Let's face it, they want to hear you keel over.
They want to be entertained. Right. Is Double J going to die on the radio today?
It could happen at any moment. So you got to be like Howard Beale, I'm mad as hell.
I'm not going to take it.
And you have to pass out at the end of every show, and you'll be good at that. So I have the same issue, blood pressure off the charts, and that's what Joe's got. And
I've got a big stripe across the front of my chest today as I was shaving for the EKG machine. It looks wonderful.
Turns out Joe is a heartless bastard.
Actually,
he's got nothing.
They literally did it 3 times. And there's something blocking it. And I'm like, I got a pretty good idea of what it is.
Yeah, he's all right. So you just got to. And it's already started. Same thing happened to you. It's happened to me. I take 900 vitamins this morning. I'm on Super Beats. Of course, I mix. I'm not kidding. I'm on Super Beats this morning. I have a shake. My wife, you name it, she's got me running. Of course, I like to mix them with vodka. Don't tell her. But she puts it in a shake and everything. It's pretty good. So I like Dana Lash. I like the product. I feel pretty good. So.
My wife's on top of it already.
Yeah. She cleaned out
the refrigerator got cleaned out.
Yeah.
Today it's going to be the pantry's getting cleaned out. I'm just.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
We were at the grocery store and I'm like I'm eating what? Ezekiel bread? Yeah. Hello.
Wait till you quote me when you come home one night. Lori never forgot it. I looked at her. I go, what are we not having for dinner?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not kidding you. On our pantry door, already, we've got the meal plans laid out with the descriptions of what I'm going to be eating. And I'm going to just say this. None of it's good.
Well, you got to do it, man. You got to get the weight off, and you got to stay in shape. You got to do it for your lovely wife and for your kids. You just got to do it. So, and you'll get there. Where are you? You're not 50 yet.
Nope, I'm 48 here. I'm bumping up on 48. I know that sounds people are like 48.
I know. They don't get it though. See, we're in radio years. Radio years are like dog years, okay?
I'm really 67.
Right. But anyway, this show is brought to you by the Patriot Trading Group, 1-800-951-0592. I got to tell you, I'm glad to kind of coming out of retirement here. It feels real good. Yesterday, I was like, tough, short notice. I'm like, you want me to do what? I'm looking at the buttons. I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this. I don't know which damn button to push. So I'm like, well, all right, we'll try it. So, but today it all felt normal. I got to tell you, you got a great thing set up. You got Glenn Biddle.
Glenn, yep. The professor, by the way.
He's a teacher.
He is, yes.
So I feel bad about taking shots at teachers. I asked my wife, I said the teachers, and they're up to it. They got some articles, California teachers, and then you got, I'm calling it Ed for Reds out here, the commies. The little commie mushheads are teaching. You got David Hogg.
Oh, the kid.
David Hogg's out after starting an advertiser boycott, against Laura Ingraham. Gun control activist David Hogg has set his sights on two new targets. Iconic gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson and its capital backers, and he's going after BlackRock and Vanguard. Yeah, he's got, believe it or not, he has 764,000 Twitter followers.
This is a kid in high school.
Right.
He doesn't know, I don't want to say the word, starts with an S and ends with a T. What kid, they don't know anything yet.
Well, he's sponsored by somebody that knows.
Of course he is. And it's got George Soros and everybody else behind it. I mean, it's ridiculous. When, now we're getting dictated to by a porn star and a high school kid.
Well, anyway, they're going after him. Here's the thing that they don't get. I guarantee you, his backers aren't pulling a nickel out of BlackRock or Vanguard. Rats and ruck with that. Patriot Radio News Hour will be back after these messages. What a great song. Mike and the Mechanics. I want to talk about that song we dug out from shortwave radio years ago. But talking about high school, I guess the high school kids are going to do a sit-in on the Capitol Friday after school, trying to get Governor Ducey's attention over gun control. Now, we have an entire generation of, Tide Pod eaters that actually want to march for less rights. And think about it. Let's soak that in for a minute. Yes, we want less rights in this country. Brilliant. But don't worry. Remember when you were in school, Joe, they go, this is going to go on your permanent record.
Let's just say that my permanent record had a lot of records on it.
Right. And I'm like, you really think? After about sixth grade, I'm like, well, I don't believe there's a permanent record. I think there was. I don't know. But don't worry. If you're a high school student and you want to march, so students, they risked disciplinary action at 3,000 high schools earlier when they all did their march, when they all left school. But don't worry, Adelphi University fully supports your desire to stand up for your beliefs and will overlook this absence on your permanent record when applying to their college. I'm not kidding you. This is a real story.
Here's what they won't overlook. If the check bounces, they're not going to overlook that.
And I think if you're out marching for the NRA,
there may be a difference.
You might have a little trouble because, remember, liberal tolerism means they'll tolerate everything as long as you see it their way. So don't worry, you kids that are all, apparently now they're going to march after school on Friday, so it doesn't come.
So someone actually figured out, hey, wait a minute. These kids may actually have to go to school so they can learn that they're actually giving away all their rights.
If, in fact, there really was a permanent record, I'm pretty sure on my 18th birthday they'd have locked me up. The school would have sent somebody over. Arrest that man.
You remember that George Thorogood song? Yeah, leave that one alone. Yeah.
You want to know something? I actually exempted government. You could take a test and exempt it. And like 3 kids in the whole school got out of it. I know for a fact I did not pass the test, but this was pre-Ritalin. And there goes Cedarstrom Tuckett telling me pass. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. New Orleans Saint quarterback Drew Brees and his wife Brittany claim they were scammed out of $9 million over a 6-year period by a San Diego jeweler. The couple says they made a claim that their jewelry collection they had it appraised and were told the value was $9 million less than the $15 million they paid for it. Now, here's what happens, and this is one thing in this industry, and the gold industry is no different. Now, we've got hundreds of thousands of clients here, and we've worked hard through the last 2 decades, 3 decades, how long? Almost 3 decades.
We're working on decade number 3 right now.
So, and we understand that we didn't have time because, we're obviously a small company. We didn't have a bank of phone, little cubbies everywhere like most gold companies do. They got all these people that work in the cubby holes. So, people call and they order, like, that's a great price. And then everybody checks around and they call and they send for the free reports until eventually they meet a personable person who calls them. And then they call you again. And then pretty soon they're like, well, how's Muffy doing? How's this? In school? And you make friends with these people. And then they keep calling you until eventually you buy from them. And then you buy again and they call you. Well, after a while, you're like, God, this guy calls me all the time. And you've got a drawer full of this stuff. And you realize that, maybe we should check. And they call here and we're like, you bought what? This is what happened. Same thing happened to Drew Brees.
Not just you bought what, and you paid what?
You paid how much for this?
Right.
And then you could hear, Joe laughing in the background or Wendy, I'm like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have done that. So this is what happens. We don't do that here. We never did that.
Never.
We don't do that. So did it cost us business? Absolutely. Did we know it did? Absolutely. I mean, at one point we said, well, you want to hollow out the warehouse back here and, put 100 phones because we had enough business to handle, 50 to 100 salesmen here like the other companies do.
And you put them on commission so it doesn't cost you nothing. Half of them just got released from drug rehab. Right. The other half are,
They're all gone. All the guys that rip you off are gone. They're all gone. The companies are still in business because they make a ton of money. I mean, our biggest competitor was in the newspaper. He paid $7 million. The cheese people, $7 million cash for his house. $7 million. I'm like, how's that even possible? So I don't know. But that's what you get when you work at 40% markups. And no matter what we do, and I know you know this, I hate to say this on the air, but you know me, I don't hold anything back. No matter what you do, no matter how we did it or at the end of the year, after you totaled up everything, you were lucky to make 3% in this.
That's how it works.
Just how it works here. But you know what? We never had a complaint. The people continue to order. A customer that Marlene just said, oh, he ordered, and I'm like, I hadn't heard the name. It was like, this guy was ordering from me in the 90s, is still ordering. So, Jeff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. Started ordering in the 90s. Is that even possible? So, anyway, that's Drew Brees. My heart goes out to you, but that's what happened. Made good friends with the guy. I've got this wonderful diamond. Yes. There's only...
Yes, he wanted to diversify because
right.
I got a lot of money. I needed it. And, of course, instead of picking gold, he picked diamond, but it didn't matter. He wouldn't have picked the right guy anyway.
Yeah, from 2010 to 2016, this guy Moradi, is that his name? Vahid Moradi. Wonderful. They allocated funds to buy diamonds, and he did it. We all the time still do. You get checks in the mail. Eric, please fill this with gold, I can't help it. Just the way, couldn't do it, I could charge you, it'd send you one gold coin for $50,000. We just never did it here. So, anyway, I'm still here, still rocking and firing. They're letting me do a radio show, and I'm still alive, which, believe it or not, there's no one in the room more amazed at that fact than me.
I'm impressed.
So, I feel pretty good. I think I'm actually in the best shape of my life.
There's no doubt that you are in far superior shape than me, but now I'm going to have to turn into you.
Right, this is what's going to happen.
And that's what's going to happen.
So now don't forget, we have the Cedarstrom Group, which is the Lori Cedarstrom Group. Don't be confused. So.
You know what's so funny? At least once a month, somebody will ask me about Eric in real estate, and I just start laughing. I'm going, and I'll openly just tell this. Eric was a terrible realtor.
Right. Call Lori.
I go, his wife, on the other hand, she is like the realtor of realtors. So
she's number one. I can't believe the amount of houses she sells, and I mean, I'm not sure, but I think she's selling close to a house a day.
Right, and the rest of the office combined doesn't even match what she does.
Right.
They can't do anything.
She's amazing. So if you need a realtor, go to the Cedarstrom Group, and I mean anywhere in the world. There's a Coldwell Banker. She can help you. Of course, if you want to buy, a $10 million home in North Scottsdale, call me. If you like to play golf, If you want to play golf and hang out and look at multi-million-dollar
I will
homes,
say this: there is no shortage of multi-million-dollar homes here.
No,
there's plenty of inventory out there.
It's everywhere. So, and then of course I got to throw one more commercial in.
Oh, another plug.
Yeah, the Pinkerton Pool and Landscape Company in the North Valley.
I'm going to say this: we've used the Pinkerton.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he is.
Cody Pinkerton, if you got a pool and you're in the North Valley.
One of these days I got to get him to come in and do a show with us.
I know. He's really personable. Cody's a good boy. Pinkerton Pool and Landscaping. Call Cody if you need any pool or any landscaping work. He's mostly up in the North Valley. I know for his pool routes, but landscaping, I don't know how far it'll go. Area code 480-201-2011. 480-201-2011, or go to the cedarstromgroup.com. Find me on there. Text me, and I'll send you his number. So, Fred Meyer stores are closing. They've been, of course, what isn't closing? What's the?
I'm going to say that I think I saw 77 million square feet now of retail closures just this year. It's incredible. And they talk, and I love it. You turn on the idiot box, and they're all happy, especially the bakers, because they got most of the benefit of the deregulation and the tax cuts. Oh, yeah, it's great. The economy is great, right? There's not a retailer out there that's actually opening anything.
Well, it's nuts because they're building again up here in Deer Valley. You've got these warehouses and these flex spaces going in. Of course, Deer Valley is an Indian word. It now means permanent renter. Because remember, these used to all be for sale. There are still suites that have not sold that I believe that were not occupied since they built them in 2005 up here.
It's just like housing now. Let's face it. Here's what the housing market now. It's a renter's market. It's renters. You go anywhere. I don't care if you're in the Front Range. I don't care. You drive over in this town. Every big complex is apartment building. It's the only thing being built in this town. And then just on the commercial side, it's all renters.
Yeah, that's all. There's nothing for sale. Everything's for rent. So it's weird too. And they're putting a lot of it in. So, but again, the whole West is exploding. There was an article Glenn sent me about people moving out of Illinois.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's what I call the failed blue staters. They're everywhere. They're coming in, and they're bringing all of their failed ideas along with them. It's incredible. Of course, you can't live in Illinois. You can't live in California. You know how expensive it is there, and the realities are it's coming everywhere. Everywhere you turn, now these apartments, I don't even know, how do they get people in them? The average rent, $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month. It's crazy.
Well, the apartments are way overbuilt, and the housings, they're behind. Even the small towns, you go up to Prescott, Flagstaff, start driving around. You can't drive anymore in Phoenix. It's over. If you try to get out of town, forget it. You're talking about a black eye in this town. The I-17 north, and when you go down 10 south to Tucson, it's 2 lanes each way.
It's a parking lot.
It was 2 lanes in 1956. You understand? Okay, get this. Okay, if you go buy a new truck, I don't know what it's $70,000. You go to license it. It's like the first year's $1,800 or something. DMVs for a new loaded diesel truck. Okay, guess what? They had the nerve to put in the newspaper, the motor vehicle, ADOT, Department of Transportation. We don't have the money. We don't have the money to build the road. Now, the head of ADOT they got like 3 million people making 6 figures a year at ADOT. If they all gave up their salaries, we could build 2 405s.
Well, I was going to say maybe 2 miles,
yeah.
Right? This is what you brought up a great point. It was 2 lanes,
right,
in the 60s,
right, and we have the population of what L.A. was in the 80s.
You know what it would cost to make it 4 lanes today, and that's the problem. And they said there's no inflation.
You see, they're starting now. The great brainchild is they're starting to make the roads in California at $40,000 a mile to paint them white. Did you see that?
So they'd be cooler.
The heat island. Now, listen, I know it's ridiculous, but I got to tell you, I think it makes sense. If they painted everything white.
Well, why does white cost $40,000 a mile?
I don't know.
Can I get that? I think I can do it for $39,000 a mile.
You know, I'd get a Ford Pinto and a roller and just just kind of lean out the side. We could get that.
Get the El Caminos back, and
right.
you just hang out the back with the sprayer, you know.
Both sides. So, you know, the heat island, that people don't, you know, for all you local people listening who grew up here, I mean, you talk about a weather pattern changing, the heat island here. We used to get, the monsoons would come in over the Sea of Cortez, and now when they hit Phoenix because of the heat island, they just split up.
Yeah, breaks them all up.
Yeah, we don't get any rain anymore. So I don't know. Maybe it's not a bad idea, but, you know.
$40,000 a mile for white paint? I mean, come on.
It's a tad bit expensive, so. 1-800-951-0592. Silver's up 50 cents.
Silver's up 50 cents. Yesterday you ran the polar bears.
It's because I came back. You realize how many of those we sold?
Well, here's what I did. Because Wendy's calling me, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I just said, buy them all.
There we go.
Buy them all. We've got about 30 polar bear rolls left. I bought them all yesterday. So yesterday you ran them at $4.35. We were the cheapest price in the country by about $6, not $6 a roll, $6 a coin, less than everybody else. So the last 30 rolls still at $4.35, even though silver's up another 50 cents. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour, halftime on a Wednesday.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily look at the significant issues of our time from an experienced conservative perspective. Sponsored by Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, this broadcast continues the legacy of Phyllis Schlafly and stands against forces that mock traditional values, deny freedom of religion, slander America, and would redefine the family. Now, the president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, Ed Martin.
In the weeks following the horrific Parkland, Florida school shooting, the country was enamored by surviving students who the news called eloquent and bold in their public campaign for gun control. In no time at all, these students had organized major events, from a nationwide school walkout to a march on Washington, D.C. They also managed to pull in $1 million in donations from mega donors in just a matter of days. So how exactly could a few high school students rise to such influence and organizational skills? The media attributed to their tech savvy or the hotness of the issue. But not until weeks later did it come to light that this high school movement wasn't so spontaneous or grassroots at all. It turns out that a local congressman, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, jumped in to aid students in lobbying the Florida Capitol. A teachers' union organized the buses that got the kids to Tallahassee. Michael Bloomberg's groups and the Women's March came to help organize the National March, and MoveOn.org is working social media promotion and even logistics for the march. The American Federation of Teachers admitted they were behind the national school walkout, which journalists had previously assured us was the work of one teenager. And the icing on the cake of all this news is that activist training for the students in the days following the shooting was provided by none other than Planned Parenthood. In other words, the response to this shooting was professional and political. Make no mistake, this movement is not the work of kids forming a grassroots organization in someone's living room. This new push for gun control is the work of high-dollar liberal activists who are using these surviving students and families as pawns to achieve a political gain. It's not about saving lives or saving freedoms for these progressives. It's about power and control. Forensic science writer David Hines summed it up well when he said, "For 2 weeks, journalists treated power as if it were magical. It's not. It's mechanical. The people organizing the response to Parkland and a host of other causes know that. So should you."
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. The hypocrisy and lies of the liberal media are alarming and even incite public unrest. But the fake news and the commentators who slant coverage are finally being exposed. At phyllisschlafly.com, we promise to provide timely alerts and take effective action on your behalf. That's phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
You're listening to the very best in conservative talk radio. Modesty keeps us from saying anything more. 1-800-951-0592 is a business line here. Patriot Trading Group. Seems to be a silver shortage out there. Silver's been moving. They're talking about scrap supplies.
Let's just go over what happened. So why silver on the move? We've been telling you, and I've been trying to get you ready. I've been telling you about this silver market and telling you to get ready. The second half of this year, silver and gold are really going to make a big move. Scrap silver. Okay, so this is, the silverware, when you get rid of your cell phones and all this stuff, the scrap silver market is at the lowest levels in 28 years. You think about this is before there were cell phones, before there was solar panels and all the electric cars, and of course you need silver for all of that stuff. On top of the mining supply, the numbers are coming in down more significantly than they first thought. So Chile, Mexico's the largest silver producer. Chile's right behind them, down 20% on mine supply, and now all of these reports coming together. Silver exploding to the upside today, like Eric said earlier, up 50 cents, $17.25.
That's a big move.
And it was.
I've seen a 50-cent move in silver.
It's been a while, and it used to do it all the time, and I think we're going to see a lot more of them.
That was the lock limit,
Well. And
I don't know if it still is.
All of the short positions, J.P. Morgan and all these other guys were trying to keep the price contained and all of those things. And silver's just starting to bust through those now. Once that happens, all the algorithms, they all kick in and they run it up. And right now, and I've been telling you all year long, silver is just in my modest assumption was $4 an ounce undervalued. And I think we're going to see $20 silver before the end of the year. And holding that price on those polar bears, we bought every one of them yesterday. As Eric was moving through them, I just told Wendy to book them all. So for those of you that bought yesterday, congratulations. For those of you that wanted to wait and see, you're not going to get a better opportunity. These are an ounce and a half. The polar bear, they're $35 to $65, depending on who you call anywhere, including the cheap, the online guys and all that. It's $29. It works out to $19.33 an ounce. So you're talking about
can't beat that.
Like $2 over spot here. $435 at 800-951-0592. But the reason for the move today was the big announcement on scrap silver supply. It's just disappearing. Just that simple.
China finally launched its last month in its yuan-denominated crude oil futures.
Well, that's done a lot better than anybody thought.
Well, I think that
Except
might
us.
have something to do into the petrodollars could start working their way into the hard asset market. It used to be that gold, silver, and used to be a hedge also with the oil market. So now it's too soon to call the less than a month-old contract a total success because it still faces a long road towards building reputation and history. But, yeah, that's a ridiculous statement.
Well, I mean, it's only been around a month, right? But when you look at the amount of volume, it's double and triple even the highest estimate.
Well, what's happened in a month since now you can trade the Chinese yuan into the Middle East and buy oil with it? What's happened to the price of oil?
Wow, oil over $68. Remember last week I told you $66.66. If oil broke above that, it was going to go a lot higher. It did. $68 this morning. We had crude oil inventories, draws in all three major categories, crude oil, gasoline, and distillates. I also saw gasoline futures, the highest I've seen so far this year. $3 a gallon probably is going to be at least what we're going to see for the summer drive time. And I'm not surprised, right? The Chinese started doing their crude oil contracts. The price is going higher. The Saudis, they want to do their Saudi Aramco IPO, right? That's coming, right? And at $80 a barrel, it's a $2 trillion company. And the Saudis, hey, they want to spend money too. So that's what we're looking at.
Well, the biggest fear right now is they're concerned that the Chinese contracts will start to dominate the market.
Well, think about it. What would you do if we were the Chinese and we were on the air in China? Wouldn't we be yelling for the Chinese government saying, "Hey, we're buying all the oil. Make them buy it in our currency"? Well, I mean, wouldn't you say that?
You're looking at a tectonic shift here because oil. The only reason people would hold dollars, I mean, if you were in outer Mongolia and you needed to start one of your Isuzu trucks, you needed dollars to buy gasoline. Had to have it.
That was it. And most people don't realize how much bigger the crude oil market is compared to anything else. It's the number one expense for all of these countries to buy oil. It's the biggest, as far as the commodities go, soybeans and corn and gold and silver and steel and iron ore. Crude dominates as far as in dollar terms.
Well, maybe they're doing all they can to support the electric car market here. General Motors announced its U.S. job-cutting plan. They say it's due to poor sales of the sedan version of the Chevrolet Cruze. What idiot. That's what happens when governments bail out things and you let government people who never really ran anything. Who would name a Chevrolet a Cruze? Why not? I mean, can't you spell it like a cruise? It has to be C-R-U-Z-E. Isn't that the name of the Florida shooter, Cruze?
Ooh, I don't.
This is kind of like AIDS, the diet pill. Remember that AIDS chocolate? I don't think Cruze is probably the best name ever.
I'm going to say this though. Do you know that they closed this plant in Ohio? 1,500 U.S. workers.
But the Mexico plant
stayed open.
Right. This is what happens when you bail out American companies. So you got phones are ringing off the hook in here. It feels good to be back.
It does. Welcome back. I'm happy you're back.
So anyway, you got GM plants, the Mexico plant staying open. They're going to lay off. They employ 15,000 workers in Mexico. Now, this Cruze kid, you got David Hogg, and the Cruze kid has vanished. The kid who pulled the trigger, the tragedy.
Okay.
I think they should make David Hogg head of ENN, the Execution News Network, and they should start executing these guys. I'm dead serious. I mean, you can walk into a school and shoot. Instead of changing all the laws, all right, go, okay, guess what? Well, you're guilty. You're on Thursday. We're hanging you. They used to hang people, ladies and gentlemen. I know this is the most craziest statement. They used to hang people in the town square, and people came from everywhere to look at it. To me, it would be the number one news network brought to you by the Patriot Trading.
Well, remember, wasn't that Arnold Schwarzenegger did the Running Man?
Right.
That was that state that Richard Dawson was the host.
Same deal. I think they should do it.
Right.
Execution News Network. Cruze is hanging. People watch it. You would really think twice. You punks out there that are living a terrible life on how bad everything is, you'd think twice before. Otherwise, you'd be a TV star. Patriot Radio News Hour. Blind leads the stupid. Be right back. Hey, dumber than a stick and uglier than a mud fence. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Eric Cedar-Strauss, temporary fill-in host with Joe Jaquin, the owner, talking about the world going by, how crazy everything is, and I mean, it really is nuts, isn't it? Hard to make heads or tails out of what's what. The press hates the president worse than anything I've ever seen ever in my life. Of course, Barbara Bush passed away. Was it yesterday? I think
this morning. Was it this morning? Well, maybe it was last night.
It was yesterday. Yeah. I actually heard W on the radio today. Said that one of the last words. She was in a good mood. He was in her hospital room yesterday, and Barbara looked at the doctor and said, "You know what's wrong with George? Is I smoked and drank when I was pregnant with him." She said that. So, I couldn't believe it. So, she had to be something.
I actually like Barbara Bush a lot.
She had to be something, man. So, husband and a son as a sitting as
second
a
person ever.
I asked
Adams.
her, I go, she's got to be the only lady to have a son and a husband as president, but
Adams.
See? Joe is a plethora of knowledge. So.
It's mostly useless, but
now you be careful, son. This is going on your permanent record. IBM missed their numbers today, or so they thought. IBM's a new stock symbol. It means I've been mauled by China.
Well, think about it. General Electric is barely a stock anymore.
Another crazy prediction.
Right, another one of your wacko calls. IBM, they're next, right? They're in 5 or 10 years, we're going to talk about IBM like we talked about GE, like we talked about General Motors and all the rest of them, just getting their hat handed to them.
3 or 4 years ago, I was at the post office, and everything's IBM. Of course, the government contracts, and they get them and put together the postal contract. Only IBM, would get that with much lobbying of lobbyists. And I looked and sat down. I said, well, everything's IBM. Well, I'm looking. I flipped it all over. I just reached there, where you'll run the card through the terminal, says IBM. Flip it upside down, says China. The pin on it, everything. IBM, just Chinese stuff. But anyway, IBM Business Machines is not progressing fast enough for many investors in its quest to become more of a cloud/artificial intelligence company. Yes, AI, as the reaction to its first quarter results demonstrated this morning. They were down 7% at one point, but as they enter the second half, we have significant headwinds on mix because we are not counting on more than the typical mainframe cycle. In other words, now IBM has to reinvent itself into selling air, which is what everything sells. I mean, it's what you pay for.
It's Spaceballs the movie.
I was at Walmart the other day, and I looked and I saw a cell phone for $19. A flip phone. Remember, they still sell them. $19, no contract. It just caught my eye, and I looked at it. I'm like, $19.
Or you can buy the Apple phone for $1,000.
Well, yeah, or $1,000. So they have camera phones. They have smartphones for $26. Way out of my price range. So I'm like, all right,
it's like buying shoes at Costco. That's what I do.
Doesn't make any sense. I have a smartphone made by AT&T that I had to get. You have a contract. When you go in there, it's like buying a car. Okay, when your old phone quits, you're like, no. Oh, you got to go in there, and the salesman comes up.
It's the worst. One of your kids breaks the screen on their phone. You're like, oh, great.
No.
There goes half the afternoon.
So, yeah, you got to go in there. You can't, I go in there and go, my phone doesn't work. They punch it up. They go, well, you can't do anything. Because your wife's on there. I go, I've been married 30 years. They go, well, can't you just call her?
Guess what? Same thing.
Same deal,
I
right?
can't do anything to my phone.
So I'm like, well, come on. So now she's got to come down like I'm a kid. Oh, your mother's here. Sign for my telephone.
We had to put this on your husband's permanent record.
So, you can just go buy the same phone for $26 at Walmart. They charge me $1,200 for it at AT&T. Walmart, get contract. Here's the problem. If you want 6 months of minutes, 6 months of air. Now, let me repeat that. Air. It says right, you got to buy a card. The air is $300.
And you're like 600 minutes. That's a lot of minutes. That's gone in like 2 weeks.
So now IBM, everything, the money is in selling air. And, of course, when you were a kid, remember when air was free because it ain't free no more. So the evil president, Donald Trump, everybody hates him. And his tax cuts for the wealthy, only the wealthy. Of course, the average person gets, everybody gets a tax cut. The wealthy are the ones, though, that were supposed to really benefit. They even tried to show, was it Goldman Sachs earnings yesterday set a record? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Their best earnings statement
ever. Trading revenues, because the Dow moved triple digits every single day. So guess who benefited? Right? Those guys did.
That's like from the movie Trading Places. Some people are betting that the commodity's going up, and some are betting that it's going down. But tell them the best part. No matter what it does, Duke and Duke gets their commission. Same deal there. So so they had their record. Now, of course, they go, because the earnings statement started out, the UPI story, because of the president's tax cuts. Yes. The evil wealthy, record earnings, because of the tax cuts are for the wealthy. Well, apparently President Trump's tax cuts will be anything but for about 1 million California taxpayers who owe Uncle Sam more money a year from now. They're the California wealthy, whose collective $12 billion because of the new laws caps the deduction they've been able to make for paying their state and local taxes, according to new analysis by the franchise board.
It's only going to get worse. All those bad blue states are now coming to the red states, and we got the same problem. You can't deduct the state and local taxes anymore, and all the states are broke.
The very wealthy Californians earning more than $1 million a year will pay the lion's share of that money.
Now you know why they want to break that up into 3, 4, 5 different states, right? They want to get away.
Yep, 43,000 of the 1 million or more a year people will have to pay the combined $9 billion.
You know what's so funny when they talk about how 5% of the people pay 80% of the taxes? Oh, then you hear this stuff about, because they want to justify the rich people getting the tax breaks. That's a sad statement. How did we get that lopsided?
Well,
that's the problem.
My dad said if everybody bankrupted them, it would just be a matter of time. But everyone had money now, had it again.
Oh, there you go.
Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. In the famous words of Todd Hughes, circa 1976, sit down, nobody ever leaves during Steve Miller. Steve Miller Band. Got a new, we got to talk McCain. Apparently McCain had surgery in the hospital yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, yeah.
John McCain. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. We wish him the best. The other thing that's just crazy is that, being a senator has to be as close to employment nirvana as you could ever get. Because once these guys get in, they don't ever want to leave. What do you think it is? You think it's the free travel, the 5-star restaurants, everybody going, yes, sir, no, sir? Apparently that has an attraction.
Go figure.
Right. Being able to put anyone out of business that you want, So, once they get in, they never leave. And people keep voting for them. You've been a big, big term limit guy as long as I've known you.
Because, you know what, and the answer is simple. It's just like, and I look at everybody that finally does leave, like Alan Greenspan, Janet Yellen now, right? All of a sudden, all the things they used to say, forget about that. Let's say, we got to talk about what's the debt is killing us, the amount of money killing us, right? You get the truth after they leave.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, there's a new term, a new financial vernacular. It's hard for me to get anything over on you, but I may get you on this one. There's not subprime mortgages anymore,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're now called non-prime.
Oh,
right. That subprime apparently had a bad,
I didn't know that.
See, you people have to learn something new every day.
So it's now non-prime.
Non-prime mortgages apparently are starting to dominate the market. So we'll keep an eye. When crashes come? When nobody's expecting them. So the guys that are on TV, it's all good.
Right.
It's when they all come on and tell you that the moon is made of green cheese, baby. You better pay attention, and that's what we're starting to get.
Yeah. When did you go bankrupt? Well, it was a little bit at a time, and then it was all at once.
Well, I like it. One of my first customers said, my dad avoided the crash of 29. And I go, yeah, how'd he do that? He goes, he went bankrupt in 28. There you have it.
Quick look here at the markets. Gold's up 6.1353. Silver's up 50 cents, $17.29 now. The Dow is down 20 points. I'm sure I'll make a triple-digit move here before the end of the day. Yesterday, we ran those polar bears, the ounce-and-a-half Canadian polar bears.
Do you have any left?
We still have some left. They were $4.35 yesterday. Silver's up 50 more cents today. I bought them all yesterday. We still got probably 15, 20 rolls left of the polar bears at $4.35. These are silver polar bears, ounce-and-a-half.
Ounce-and-a-half. These are bipolar bears.
And by the way, there's something else that's neat about it. They're $4.9 fines, and they're valued at $8 on the nominal face value.
$8?
$8.
Who makes them?
Canada.
Canada makes them. 8 Canadian bucks?
Yeah, 8 wow. Canadian loony bucks, I guess. Wow. And the ounce-and-a-half polar bears everywhere. I mean, everywhere you look, these things are from $35. If you buy from the idiots on TV, they're like $70. $29 a piece is what it works out. It works out to $19.33 an ounce. Got silver at $17.30.
Oh, you guys got to buy
it's
one.
It's ridiculous.
Pull and buy a roll.
800-951-0592. Great to have my great friend Eric back with us here filling in for me.
I'm going to be helping you as much as I can.
I appreciate it. This show will replay tomorrow and hopefully not on Friday.
God bless you all. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.